Portlaoise Prison's security was put to the test during a recent outbreak of violence and instability. On a chaotic day, 3 infamous cartel hitmen and Kinahan gang leader Gerry Hutch staged a violent attack on fellow inmate David Long. This brutal assault was only one of several frightening episodes at the high-security jail, where 11 other inmates were transported to the hospital at the same time due to a mass drug overdose. As investigations into these incidents continue, the jail remains a violent environment with gang rivalries and illicit activities disrupting daily life. 3 cartel hitmen and the top Kinahan gang leader in Portlaoise Prison recently teamed up to launch a vicious attack on a fellow inmate, David Long, during a day of chaos at the high-security facility. Patrick Curtis, Michael Burns, Charles McLean, and Gerry Hutch, the Kinahan cartel's prison boss, were all written up with P-19 disciplinary forms after being identified as the culprits behind the violent assault. David Long, who is originally from Cork and known for his violent behavior, was left with serious injuries after being ambushed by the 4 men. This attack occurred on the same day that 11 prisoners at the prison overdosed on drugs, leading to a mass emergency where they were rushed to the hospital. The overdose situation is believed to have been organized by convicted drug dealer Tony McInerney. When he was found unconscious and being taken to the hospital, he had a significant stash of drugs and a list of customers, suggesting he was coordinating the distribution inside the prison. The attack on Long and the drug overdose incident appear to be unrelated. However, both events reflect the intense and volatile environment within the prison, where gang rivalries and criminal networks continue to operate even behind bars. It is believed that another inmate who had recently returned from temporary release may have smuggled the drugs into the prison. McInerney made headlines last year after pleading guilty to a shooting in 6 Mile Bridge, Cumberland Clare in 2020, where an innocent bystander was struck in the buttock by a stray bullet. The scene, described in court as like something out of the Wild West, saw 9 shell casings scattered on the ground. Gerry Hutch, who has served as the Kinahan cartel's leader in prison, has typically avoided direct involvement in physical altercations since he was sentenced to 11 years for leading a criminal organization. Known for maintaining a low profile, Hutch is facing extradition to the UK on conspiracy charges. The charges relate to a plot involving firearms, reportedly orchestrated by his boss, Thomas "Bomber" Kavanagh, in an attempt to reduce his own prison sentence for drug trafficking offenses. Despite his involvement in the recent attack, Hutch appeared in court soon after, showing no visible signs of the altercation. His extradition hearing has been delayed yet again, with a new date set for September 18th. As he awaits his fate, the prison remains on high alert, dealing with both the internal power struggles among inmates and the continuous flow of illegal drugs within its walls. According to the UK's National Crime Agency, NCA, he is wanted for trial in connection with a gun plot that unraveled when police uncovered the plan during the Encrochat hack. The scheme, which was meant to manipulate sentencing and reduce jail time for key figures, fell apart after investigators cracked the encrypted messages used by organized crime groups. Patrick Curtis, who is currently serving a 10-year prison sentence, was the leader of a team involved in a botched attempt to assassinate Patrick "Patsy" Hutch, brother of notorious criminal Gerry "the Monk" Hutch. Curtis headed a group of 9 men who were jailed for their role in the conspiracy to kill Hutch. However, their leader, known only by the nickname Lord Knows, who issued orders through an encrypted phone, was never identified by law enforcement. Among those caught in the failed plot was Michael Burns, who acted as one of the foot soldiers in the hit squad arrested back in 2018. Burns later confessed to being aware of the criminal organization and participating in activities that supported the planned assassination of Hutch. As a mid-level operative, he was responsible for managing a smaller group within the gang, coordinating logistics, and passing along orders from higher-ranking members. Charles McLean, a feared gangster tied to several underworld killings, also has a long criminal history. He admitted to luring crime boss Mark "Guinea Pig" Desmond to a meeting under the pretense of a drug deal, where Desmond was then gunned down. Following this, McLean confessed to disposing of Desmond's phone on the orders of another notorious gangster, Wayne Whelan, and later conspiring to murder Whelan himself. These men are part of a violent network of organized crime where encrypted messaging, ruthless violence, and betrayals are common. Their arrests and ongoing legal battles continue to shine a light on the intricate and dangerous web of criminal activity that authorities are striving to dismantle. Another notorious inmate, gangland killer Peter Kenny, was the last to be brought back to Portlaoise after receiving intensive care in the hospital. Kenny, who is serving a life sentence for the 2009 murder of drug dealer John Carroll at Grumpy Jack's pub in Dublin, was described as still being out of it when he was returned to the prison. Kenny's conviction drew attention due to the heavy reliance on the testimony of an informant who later entered the witness security program, which led to debates over the use of such evidence in court. John Carroll, a well-known figure among Dublin's major drug dealers, was carrying a list of drug debtors and creditors on the night he was murdered, revealing that he was owed around $243,000. Regarding the recent chaos at Portlaoise Prison, the exact drug responsible for the mass overdoses has not yet been identified, but it is suspected to be a potent and fast-acting synthetic substance. Gardaí, Irish police, and the HSE, Health Service Executive, have collected samples found in the prison for testing to determine the drug involved. Initial reports suggested that the substance might be a synthetic opioid known as nitazene. However, the usual antidote for opioid overdoses, naloxone, was reportedly ineffective on the affected inmates. This raised serious concerns about the nature of the drug, especially given that some of the inmates, including Peter Kenny, were in critical condition and at risk of dying from the overdose. Gerry the Monk. Hutch has returned to Ireland after spending the last 10 weeks in Spain. The 60-year-old came back last Monday after leaving Dublin for Spain on May 15th, just weeks after he was acquitted of the Regency Hotel murder in April. Hutch is expected to stay in Ireland for a few more weeks, spending time with his family, many of whom are still based in Clontarf. According to a source close to him, Hutch is not in hiding at all, and some Gardaí are aware of his return to Dublin. Since coming back, Hutch has not been given a new Garda Information Message, GEM, which is typically issued to warn someone of a serious threat to their life. However, Hutch has been living under the threat of danger for several years, especially after the 2016 Regency Hotel attack that led to the death of Kinahan cartel member David Byrne. Although the level of threat against Hutch has varied over time, sources say the Kinahan cartel would seize any chance to target him if the situation allowed. So in conclusion, the ongoing tension within Portlaoise Prison highlights the volatile environment where violent confrontations and drug smuggling incidents are not uncommon. With high-profile prisoners like Patrick Curtis, Michael Burns, Charles McLean, and Peadar Keating enforcing their influence behind bars, the prison remains a hotbed of organized crime activity. The recent attack on David Long and the drug overdoses are stark reminders of the challenges faced by prison authorities in maintaining control and safety. As the investigation into the recent incidents continues, the focus will remain on how to prevent such chaos and hold those responsible accountable within an already dangerous environment. Gerry the Monk. Hutch's return to Ireland signals that he remains undeterred by the threats against him, even as the shadow of the Kinahan cartel continues to loom. While he may not be in hiding, the potential danger to his life persists, given his long-standing feud with the Kinahan gang. Hutch's decision to come back shows a desire to reconnect with his roots, but it also poses a risky challenge to the underworld dynamics in Dublin. As long as old vendettas remain unresolved, Hutch's presence in Ireland will continue to attract attention and pose questions about his safety and future. The detailed account of the recent events at Portlaoise Prison, including the vicious attack by Cartel Hitmen and the mass drug overdose, was originally reported by Sunday World. You can read the full article here.